Hello traders, it's 𝗧𝗿𝗀𝗺𝗺𝗺 here. Welcome to session 158. In today's session I'm going to be replaying the video where I executed 8 trades for 7 wins and 1 loss. Also I'll discuss the power of quitting. In this particular session I'd actually hit my target, decided to then continue to trade, had a loss, then had to keep trading. So personally, I prefer to have a daily target, hit the target and finish for the day. On top of that, in today's session you're going to see 2 live trades I've just taken as I was about to record this session, and I can see now we've actually hit my final target. I actually got out of a target as you're about to see in a moment. I cut it a wee bit early so I could record, because when you trade you need to be focused. So traders, you can apply what I teach you in these sessions to any market, any time frame. You may have noticed that recently I've mainly been focused on the ES. Why? We've had great volume after hours, great volatility, which is what I look for. Not too fast. If a market's moving too quickly, I like to go to a higher time frame or wait for the market to slow down, or of course look for another market to trade. So so look, let's get into this. As always traders, there is a risk in trading. Please don't trade with money you can't afford to lose. The great thing about most good trading platforms today is you can stay on the simulator, and of course it doesn't matter which type of chart you trade, whether it be time, tick, volume, range or Renko. I prefer tick and Renko charts. You can apply these setups to any type of chart itself. I find though, if you're a struggling trader or a new trader, Renko, even though it's a paradigm shift for a lot of traders, and they can hide a little bit of information, but they do smooth price action out and make it a hell of a lot easier to see the patterns. Now in this particular session, and as you'll see, when I'm trading the 2-tick Renko, I target 325 a day per contract. I won't get into the reasons why right now for that. I want to try to keep this under 30 minutes, but that just works really well for me. Can you go for 500, 600? Absolutely, because you'll usually see my tradings wrapped up in an hour or two, and that just really suits me. Now on this particular day, 3938 over a number of trades here, and we will play back the recording, so that is sort of will be better just to explain these as they set up. And we'll have a look at this because I've actually started recording down here, but I'd mucked up the screen I was recording, so I had to cancel that and start recording from here. So you'll see this trade from here, but anyway, in I don't know how long was that, in less than half an hour, that was 2400 or 241 a contract. Now you'll also see I was targeting the pivots up above, okay, and we're sort of grinding now. It slowed right down, and the reason being time of day, it's just after midnight Central Standard Time. It's quite a quiet time for another hour. Then we head towards a European Open and the London Open then at 2 a.m. Central Standard Time, so the market picks right up. But what you can do is drop the time frame down that you trade, and in fact I've actually got a slide here. I'll just show you this. If you can trade the 1-tick chart, which is tradable most of the time after hours, forget the 1-tick during the New York hours and the 2-tick. And let me say this, traders, the time chart or time of the chart that you trade is subject to the volatility. Okay, so usually during the New York hours, you might, if you're trading Renko, you'd be trading typically a 4-tick Renko or a 377, maybe a 610 tick chart on the ES. So the advantage is after hours the market's a lot slower, and generally the volatility is less, so you can trade a lower time frame. Now if you can trade the 1-tick, you then require a lot less money then. Perhaps the grammar wasn't great then, but your account size can be a lot smaller, which you'll see here. And you just go for 4-6 tick trades a day, and basically within 10 weeks there's your 10,000 a week income. 12 weeks, 24,000 a week on only $250 a day. This is the true potential, and I've got to say potentially legally. Now when it comes to that, I'm going to show you today how to do that. And we're talking about realistic targets. For an example, you can download this spreadsheet down below in the description link below, and you only start trading an additional contract when you double your money. So we're using the market's money, none of these ridiculous compound tables that you see out there where you're a millionaire within a month or two. Is that possible? Of course it is, but likely not really. Okay, so we've got to be sensible. I always say to traders, get rich slowly. Get rich slowly, and I'll show you how to do that. And with the one tick charts, here you'll find that they can take off like a rocket, but overall you can do really well on the one tick, smaller account size, tighter stop losses. Now just a very quick advertisement before we go to the recording. If you haven't already downloaded my ebook, The Truth About Day Trading, please see the description link below. Even better still, make sure, or not better still, but make sure you subscribe to my channel. Better still, become a member for $297. You get probably what is one of the world's most comprehensive members areas for scalpers and day traders. There's 16 or 17 brilliant trading strategies, but let me say this, you only need one or two to start with. And in fact there's over 200 hours of recordings. There's literally dozens of training sessions, recorded sessions. There's over 35 PowerPoints. However, you don't have to learn them all. Okay, for an example, the two trades that I took today live, which I'll show you as well here, were trend following. That's all you need to trade the rest of your life. Now you'll see I take counter trend trades, and I'll take reversion of the mean trades, but I've been day trading now for 28 years, so it gives me a slight advantage, tens of thousands of hours of trading. However, you can learn this. This ain't rocket science. Now I also have a bonus going where I run a live trading room, but the bonus is, and you can see here for April, I've got 294 traders from around the world registered and 315 in my coaching room. So I'll also give you 8 coaching sessions that are live. They're recorded if you can't attend. So every Tuesday and Wednesday evening Eastern Standard Time, 6 to 8 p.m. I run these coaching sessions, and you can type in questions, and you've got dozens of other traders there asking questions as well, but I'm explaining step by step how to scalp and day trade the markets. We're talking about money management, psychology of trading. We're going through the best markets to trade, etc. And once again, there are lots of tradable markets, but I go for the market at the time which really suits me and which is giving me the highest profit potential. Now all of this for only $297. Now there's no automatic sign up, by the way. You get lifetime access to the members area. You've got lifetime access to the recordings. If you wish to continue with those coaching sessions, you can simply drop me an email after the sessions, and I think it's $197 is the website price per month. You can then attend the ongoing sessions, but it's free for 8. Okay, and I've been running these for years. Okay, so this is just when I started putting them in my Google Drive. We're up to now month 95 at least, where I've got these folders, and in each folder, by the way, I've got additional PowerPoints, handouts, screenshots, etc., etc. Okay, so let's now get into this. End of advertisement. Traders, you'll hear me bring this up all the time about just get on base. Don't go for the home runs, just get on base. And a great movie, Moneyball, where Brad Pitt tells a baseball team, and they're just trying to get back on top. They're on a real tight budget, and what they say is just get on base. Statistically, trying to go for a home run is not going to give you the greater return, but getting on base does. And so that's what I do. I like to get in, get out, get paid. There's nothing more frustrating. You're a couple of thousand in a trade, then it starts to retrace dramatically. Okay, so you'll see how I do it in a moment, but this is the part most traders don't want to hear, and they'll switch off or jump ahead, and they wonder why they never succeed. Please don't get my directness mixed up with arrogance. I'm just stating a fact. That is, most traders, they just think that you can watch a video and become a day trader. You know, it's just like, can you read a book and start swimming? Can you read a book and play the piano? Of course not. It takes practice and guidance and coaching. It ain't rocket science, and it's a hell of a lot easier than playing the piano and even swimming. However, there are certain rules that we need to follow, such as money management. Now, if you're going to trade the 2 tick, you can get away with as little as $4,000, but if you've got a 10 tick stop, a larger stop loss, I recommend that we never ever risk more than 2%, which is $125. So that's why you need that. 50 times 125 is 250, 6,250. But you can start on the micro. Now with the micro, if you go for just I think I've got here just $32 a day, okay, which is basically 4 or 5 net trades a day after any losses, within 12 weeks you've now got 7,000 in your account, where you can now roll over and start trading the big contract. Now on this big contract here, if we go for 4 7 tick trades a day, and you'll see the 2 trades I got today were either 9 or 10 ticks each, as you'll see in a moment. That's 330 after your commissions. Now that's after any losses naturally. Now down here in 10 weeks, you got the potential then of a 10,000 a week income trading only 7 to 8 contracts. Here within week 13, 22,000 a week, you've got 100,000 in your account, and you're only trading 15. This is the true potential. Now what about for the young guns here that want to keep trading, going for 500 a day? Look where you are in 8 weeks, 25 grand a week potentially. I've got to say that. So this is a true potential. So the next question then is, okay, this sounds great. How do we get there? Now what you'll see, and I'll play back the recording of what I just traded, as you'll just see the market is ticking over right now, and you'll see I was targeting pivots. Probably one of the best kept secrets that are in trading is that as professional traders, we buy and sell into pivots, both Camarilla and plain floor pivots, and they plot automatically. They become a self-fulfilling prophecy. However, you don't always hit them. Yes, 85 to 90% of the time excuse me, if you follow the rules, yes you will, but it's not always going to be a winner. And you've got to be careful that you don't fall in love with the concept of hitting a pivot every time, because sometimes as I said, 10 to 15% of the time we do miss them. Okay, but overall these areas offer fantastic support resistance levels. So let's go to the chart. Now let's just play back first of all. Actually let's go, and I'll just show you this here first of all. So this is the 2 trades I'm about to show you that I just recorded. Now this, by the way, is called an overlay chart. I can tell what's happening here on my higher time frames, everything on the one chart. I know for a new trader, you look at that and go, crumbs, how am I going to read that? After a couple of hours trading and training, it ain't rocket science. It really isn't. And you can go plain it, like you don't have to have everything on the one chart. And I've already mentioned the 1 tick scalping you can do really well, and in fact right now all I need is 4 6 tick trades a day, and you make a lot of money, and basically it's all there already just in this last hour. But getting back to this, and the big thing is you can learn this. Now this is where I recorded. I'll play this back and you will see in the recording I hope it was in the second one because the first one I had to get rid of, but where I'm scrunching the charts and I'm looking for where my pivots are. Now here, this is all over in 30 minutes, and after those trades we then as you can see, and I call this grinding, and see down here I've got time of day. It's now 16 after midnight, and what I'm putting that there for, note time of day, in another half an hour to 45 minutes the volume picks up dramatically. Now just one thing, it is Easter Monday, or it's just after Easter Sunday in America, the US, Easter Monday down under in Australia, and what that means is you've got a lot of European banks will be closed, so the volume won't be as great, but the US markets do open, so you're still going to have some healthy volume. So let me just quickly play this back for you, and I'll be quick on this, as I said. And so that was trade one, and that's back there. I mucked these up. Okay, I thought I was recording. I was recording, but on another screen. So here, this is trade number two. I've taken this is what I call a strength trade, or a 16-13. Now the codes that I use, and you'll hear me talk about these codes and quote codes, traders, they're easy to learn. Once again, how bad do you want it? You know, I have traders say, oh, I'll never learn these codes. Well, look, there's probably 10 different codes or setups that I talk about all the time. Once again, it just takes a bit of practice. How badly do you want it? What would it mean to you to earn that 5 to 10 to 20,000 a week? That's a true potential if you're willing. There we go. Sorry. So see what I'm doing there, and see where my original target is, one tick below the pivot up above. Okay, so I'm targeting this upper pivot. Now I'm also getting itchy feet because I know there's a very good chance I'm going to get up there, but I wanted to get this recording done, and I want to be able to trade during the London session, which I said really fires up in about 30 minutes from now. So we're just looking here. I'll just move this along, and you'll see in a moment that I lower my target. Now just there I had a target there of what's that, about 12-13 ticks, by the way. Normally I don't go for so many. However, when you're buying or selling into a major price magnet, which pivots can be, that's a time where rather than going for 8 or 10 ticks, I'll increase my target, because these become a self-fulfilling prophecy. Now just here I'm bringing my stop back down here, and I just got stopped out of that nice little trade, and as we just saw, or we'll see again in a moment. Okay, so gross 2,500, so there, whatever that was, comes to net, you'll see this in a moment, a net of 2,400 in a very short period of time. So I'll now just wait for another 30 minutes till the London or the European markets start to really pick up. So what's that? That's only 241, by the way, per contract. I'm after 325. So that's video one. Let's now, and if we just look at this here, we're just bouncing around now, and as I mentioned, in about 30 minutes all of this will change. The volume will really start to pick up as the London market pre-opens, etc. And by the way, the London market opens at I mentioned 8 a.m., which is 2 a.m. Central Standard. Now just here, let me look up above. Yes, so this is the major divergence we've got up here as well. But let me play now the other video. Where are you? Let me just pause this and I'll go get it. Okay traders, so with this one, once again, same thing. I'm after my 325. Look, I personally love to have a target, a realistic target, and I don't want to be trading all day. I'm 66, proud to be 66, by the way, but I just want to get in, get out, get paid, hit my target, wrap it up for the day. Got to remember, I do a lot of other things. I run a trading room, I've got my coaching sessions, etc., and I've got 14 grandchildren, so I want to live a lifestyle as well. Now with that being said, this is where, once again, unlike a lot of the BS we see out there, this still takes some work. However, if you can see these lines on a chart, everything I teach you is pattern based, and that's what makes this so much easier. What I'm looking for excuse me, is patterns in the market and rules based patterns. Okay, so you can see here going to break even. Now I haven't played this recording back, so I can't remember what happens here. So I'm going for a larger target and I'm trailing. I don't always do that, traders. Okay, so I don't always trail. So what I'm looking for there is, see down here, actually at the current day's low, very good chance we'll get down and hit that low. Okay, so that was that's trade 2, by the way. See that black line up there? That's an EMA from a much higher time frame. See how we hit it? And this here, we call these T12s, very high probability trade. And now we've come down and we hit this low. And yes, I could have increased my target, but in the back of my mind all the time, traders, I've still got the old saying, a bird in the hand's better than two in the bush. So I'd rather bank some profits here. Now just here, I can already tell you now, this is see that little yellow what do you call it, the bar status there? That's telling me I've got a setup called a T3. Now a T3 is a reversion to the mean setup, a good setup, but it's a counter trend trade. And what I say to all new traders, where you don't have to have any divergence, but I say to all new traders, don't trade divergence trades, don't trade T3s. Now I can't remember if it's not looking good for me here, and I know I do have one loss in this video, but I'm not sure where that is. But just notice where my stop loss is. Like there, it would have been one tick above, here one tick below, it would have been one tick below, one tick above. And so let me move this along a little bit. Okay, so we're bouncing. All right, so just note there, we did form a little double bottom, then I had some divergence. I've gone to break even. And so we want to get to break even fairly quickly with our counter trend trades. Okay, now there I've decided to get out of that trade. Usually I'd be expecting us to pull back, and it looks like we're going to do back to the cyan line, and I'll usually get a setup just there. And by the way, we call this angulation. Okay, when you've got a lot of angulation where price moves away, these next trade or two can be a bit tricky. Okay, so that was a T3. Now just note there, I've gone short. Now I've gone short based upon something I was looking at on my anchor chart on a higher time frame. I don't think I've mentioned my anchor chart. So I'm trading generally in the direction of a higher time frame. So we'll just give this some time. Here I've gone to break even fairly early, and usually I'd be expecting to try test or come down and test that low. Now just notice there, I've decided to lock in some profits here because these can be low. As I said, when you've got angulation, it's almost like you get an ABC type setup. Okay, so just waiting to see. I'll move this along quickly. So I got out of that one there, and at 55 now, with that I got out with only 1 or 2 ticks. Okay, so there it's basically a break even type setup. Now I've got another re-entry here, and for members watching this is also a bet the farm. So I'm just watching the other screen. So with that, what I showed you earlier, so we hit that high, hit the pivot, and now we've bounced straight off that and we're heading back down on the higher time frame. So I'm just looking at, because I'll be firing off some trades later on. Well, hopefully only one more to hit my target. So just here, I'll move that along. So I've got to bet the farm, and so a bet the farm, by the way, traders, is tongue-in-cheek. We never ever break our 2% maximum risk rule. There are old traders there are bold traders, but there are no old bold traders, meaning if you're reckless, the trading gods will come and drain your trading account. So here we are short. I'm targeting the low of day, and usually when we hit the low of day or the high of day, usually we'll push through by 1 or 2 ticks, and I just got stopped on my bet the farm. Now bet the farm trades are usually really good, so that's disappointing. Whoops. Oh, and let me just go back here, because I also then decided to short this. Now this will be what I call a 3B traders, and bang, it hit that move very quickly. I'm not sure if I'd stop recording and hit record again. Traders, when you actively day trade, it's hard to remember your trades from 2 days ago. So just here, entry, you can see where my target is. So here I've got a 10 tick stop. Hang on, what's happening? Okay, so I hit my target. Now I'm in another trade. So that's trade 6. This is trade number 7. My apologies. So gee, that was quick. So I had another trade right there. Now let's just talk about this for a moment. What can you see with most of my trades? What can you learn from these charts? I'm bouncing off major EMAs. Now I'm also looking for some other signs on other indicators, and I'm looking at my higher time frame. I want to look for those bounces, okay, and not only on the entry chart but on the higher time frame. But all of these are rules, all of these are patterns. So I'm pulling back here. This is a counter trend trade as well. Once again, this is what I call a CT trade. Now with this one, let me also say with this one, I jumped in early. I can tell looking at this. Now let's just talk about that, because it's very easy, traders. Whoops, hang on. So go back to that. So this one here, when you place your trades to either enter a trade, sometimes I'll just sit back and I'll use either the chart trader or I'll use my dome or the ATM. And what you've got to make sure is that it's easy mistake to make. All right, and yes, you know, traders love it going, you ought to be better, you ought to not be stuffing up like it. But it's so easy, traders, to sometimes click on the wrong button or to put the figure in at the wrong spot, particularly if it starts to move quickly, etc. Mistakes happened, and this is one which I've just had. I can tell by it's an early entry. Now I tell and explain these to members because you don't know what you don't know. You know, there's an old saying, what you don't know can't hurt you. Traders, when it comes to trading, nothing could be further from the truth. So moving this along, so I've gone to break even fairly early here, and so now I'm out of that trade. We'll move it along a little more. Now I'm looking at, what are we looking at doing here? Okay, so there we've gone long and I'm out of this. So here I entered this trade. We jumped ahead there a little bit. This is called a 2D. Now a 2D is a double divergence, traders. Means I've got divergence on both the entry chart and the anchor chart one. Now here's a potential T3 and also a T12, and notice the angulation just here, and notice this. I was about to say, notice there we just crossed up above the major EMA. That could mean the start of a new trend. So, and away we went. Now just there we can see there, traders, so that was stop moving. That there was 3,900, so $393 per contract. Over here I had this loss, or it already hit my target, and that's where I kick myself sometimes, because if I've hit my, I just find it, if I hit my target then continue to trade, have a loss trade after, then I might have to go and execute one or two to go and recover. I don't like that. But anyway, So traders, we're looking for mainly trading with the trend, great reversal trades, and as I mentioned, every one of these traders is actually a pattern. Now look, off that triple top we just had, once again looking at what I've got happening down here, I can see on my trade line it's heading down, and you can see that cyan line. That's telling me what my higher time frame, or what's happening on the higher time frame. So traders, we covered a great deal last probably 20 minutes on the charts. Come and join me. Let me teach you how to scalp and day trade the markets. For $297 you get all of the indicators that I've got. Now if I don't have indicators, like I don't have all of them custom coded for MT4 or NinjaTrader or Thinkorswim, what's some of the others now that look, but what I do give you is the indicator settings that I use, so you can basically customize easily. Anyone can do it. The indicators that I use here, my EMAs and the short-term stochastics, I'll give you the custom settings so you can basically replicate my chart on virtually any good trading platform. TradingView, with TradingView I've had some members actually code some of the indicators for TradingView, so other members can use them. So you'll find all of those in the members area, so you can join me in the description link below. Make sure you've subscribed to my channel and join my coaching sessions. You can also email in questions that you may have. We'll answer in the coaching sessions, and if you can't attend live, you can watch the recorded sessions. So thank you traders, see you in the next video.